Temple number 38, Kongōfukuji, the Temple of Everlasting Happiness. This temple is located at the center of Cape Ashizuri, and it was founded by Kobodaishi with the aid of Emperor Saga. As you come through the gate, there's a lantern over to your left, and then looks like a stalagmite or stalactite on the ground, or I'm going to go with a dragon egg, and then right next to it is the place where you wash your hands. It's a really beautiful temple that's been patronized by emperors, aristocrats, warriors for centuries. It's said to be modeled after the Indian Potolaka, the dwelling of Kannon, and there are a number of interesting stories associated with it. The main hall, a really large, rather imposing building, the Nokyo Sho on the right, and another little hall with a pagoda also on the right as you stick out. And then over here, it's kind of laid out like a paradise. Next to the main hall is another little trail. I'm not sure where this goes, but I think I'm going to follow it and check out all these little statues over here. In the Confessions of Lady Nijo, a early 14th century court noble who wandered around Japan and wrote a memoir about it, this is what she had to write when she came to this spot. The main image of the temple is the figure of Kannon. The temple grounds were not fenced in, there was no head priest, and traveling monks and ascetics could gather there without regard to class or position. When I asked how this had come about, I was told the following story. Long ago, a monk came here with a young disciple to act as his servant. The disciple put compassion above all else. One day, another young monk arrived, and no one knew where he had come from, and joined them for their meals. This disciple always shared his portions with this unknown young monk. And one day, his master got really angry at him and told him to stop sharing his food with him. And so the next day, when the young monk came, the young disciple told this unknown monk, "My master admonished me and told me I can't share my meals with you anymore. This will be the last one." Upon which the unknown monk said, "Follow me." So why don't we go down to Cape Ashizuri now, and I'll finish the story from there, and then I'll come back here. This is Ashizuri Misaki, Cape Ashizuri. When the young man came at mealtime the next day, his friend said to him, "I would like to share with you, but my master has scolded me, so this must be the last time. Please don't come again." Then he shared his meal with the newly arrived monk, who said, "Such kindness as you have shown me is unforgettable. Please come and see where I live." The disciple accepted the invitation, and they went off together. The old monk grew suspicious, and secret followed them to the cape, where the two young men got into a small boat, took up the oars, and headed south. It was right at this cape that they came to. The old monk cried, "Where are you going without me?" The young man replied, "We're going to the realm of Kannon." As the older monk watched, they stood up in the boat and turned into bodhisattvas. In grief and anguish, the monk wept and stomped his foot, giving the place its name, Cape Ashizuri, the Cape of Foot-Stomping. Leaving his footprints in the rock, the old monk turned away empty-handed. He met this sad fate because he considered himself superior. So ever since then, people living here have avoided making distinctions. So it is said from this point, you can head off to the Pureland of Kannon, Fudoraku, from this cape. And there's kind of a sad footnote to this. And from the geological formation across from me that you can see, and I am at a point called Tango no Hana, sort of Goblin's Nose, this is a share-faced cliff. And very sadly, this has become a popular suicide spot for Japanese. Here's the lighthouse. Here's the view from the lookout point of Cape Ashizuri, southernmost point of Shikoku. That over there is Tango no Hana, where I was filming this spot a little bit earlier. And behind it, you can't see now because of a haze. Over there is Cape Moroto in the distance. That is where Kukai became Kukai. And from the Cape lookout point, you can just make out the spire of the pagoda of temple number 38, Kongōfukuji. This must be images from a certain pilgrimage. I'm not sure if it's this pilgrimage or another one with the 33 cannons involved. Here is the Daishido, a beautiful walkway between the main hall and the Daishido. Here's sort of looking backwards at it. There's the main hall over there and other buildings laid out, beautiful rock formations everywhere. Here is the Daishido. As we leave the Daishido, we can go left or right. I'm going to first, this is left, and this is right. I'm going to go right. I believe this is the shokubo attached with the temple. So if you're able to come in season and get a reservation, this looks like a wonderful place to spend the night down here at Cape Ashizuri. And right in front of it is another great rock garden with these giant boulders and looks like stalactites, but or stalagmites attached to it. So this is the outside part of the temple. Here's the Daishido Hall, and as we move back into the temple grounds, we come across these lovely ponds and rocks laid out. I mean, it really is kind of laid out like an ancient palace, or perhaps the paradise of Kannon. And there's this structure here, which turns out is the bell tower. And I didn't notice it on the way in. I thought it was just another building. And I've had bad luck ringing bells when I'm on the way out. Here's one bell. And then if we look up, here's the bell you can actually ring. So I'm gathering that this was a new bell made up here that you can ring. And down here is the old bell for sort of nostalgia purposes. So if you come and are remembering it, ring the bell on the way in. Don't forget to come here. It's right on your left as you come into this temple grounds with the ponds and buildings. It really is a Kannon's paradise. And behind is a sutra building and some more Buddha's footprints. This is Temple 38, Kongōfukuji, the Temple of Everlasting Happiness. Between the temple and the cape is this statue of Nakahama Manjiro, or John Manjiro, as he is known. He was a fisherman who in 1841 was shipwrecked, and he was actually picked up by some New England whalers who took him back to Massachusetts, where he hadn't got an education. And then he returned to Japan in 1851, and this poor fisherman became a direct retainer of the Tokugawa shogun. And Things were heating up with the West at that time, and a number of countries were trying to open up Japan, including the United States, and he became an important emissary because of his knowledge of America and English. The people of this area are actually trying to get John Manjiro's story made into a tiger drama. A tiger drama is a drama in Japan in which they tell a historical story for 50 weeks, basically every Sunday for an entire year.